The following announcement has been paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey guys.
Hello, ladies. Remember me? Let me talk to you, dummies.
It's now time
It's Vader time. TikTok.
It's showtime!
for the longest running wrestling talk show in history.
We are huge. It's gonna be cool.
You're where it's at.
You're smart like me.
Tune in each and every week.
You better keep listening, or I'll come out of your computer
And turn it on for you.
or else I'm gonna kick your stinking teeth in.
We've been known by a few names.
The needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few.
The Interactive Interview,
Interactive interview. Oh yeah.
Interactive interview.
The interactive interview.
Interactive interview. The interactive interview.
The Blaze,
Blaze 1260 AM. The Blaze.
The Blaze.
Blaze. The Blaze rock.
Interactive Wrestling Radio,
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive radio.
Interactive Radio. Testify. Interactive Wrestling Radio.
and a lot of other names.
Weekend Warriors of Wrestling. The Pile Driver. The Pile Driver.
3 Count Wrestling.
The Hours of Wow.
But it's all one show, the Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter.
The Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter, dude.
The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And your host from day one,
By ignorance or arrogance.
James Walsh.
Wake up, sleepyheads.
I could care less.
It all starts
Oh, tough guy.
Thank you very much.
What a rush. Dumbed down.
Get out of my face. You win.
But I'm desperately out of time. So what you gonna do when Blaze Mania runs wild on you?
now.
And welcome back to 3 Count Wrestling. And it is now our extreme honor and privilege to be joined by the enforcer, C.W. Anderson. C.W., how you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
Great. We are doing excellent. Good.
You missed the awesome intro. You could have said it's our extreme pleasure to be joined by the Extreme Horseman.
That's true.
See?
Yeah, all kinds of things. You could go with that.
Always thinking.
Yeah, I did one the other day, and a guy did a MacGyver intro, and from Richard Dean Anderson to C.W. Anderson. How about that?
Hey, that's a hell of a thought right there.
That's a good idea.
He's even more out there than I am.
Well, I guess the big news involving you is that you just signed onto the new ECW project. How excited are you about that?
Very excited. It was out of the blue when I got called, and I was kind of taken off guard by it. But I am really excited to be a part of this, and hoping to make some good things come out of it.
If I could ask, who called you?
Dreamer.
Oh,
Very interesting.
very good. Although you're not now, we're gonna start jumping around with our questions. It's how we do our interviews.
You have no format.
We don't have a format. That's our gimmick.
We don't need no stinking format. Okay, go ahead.
Although you're not biologically an Anderson, Ole Anderson himself gave you permission to use the Anderson name. We've heard it was a pretty big honor for you. Could you describe it in your own words?
Oh, actually, it wasn't Ole that gave me the name. It was Gina, his wife, right before Gina passed away. And I had gotten the blessing from Arn back from ECW through Bill Apter, and Ole was the last one to give me the blessing. And it was really a disappointment when I met Ole. I know you guys have read where he blasted me, where I blasted him, back and forth. And personally, I didn't care at the point with the stuff that was going on with Ole, because he really, of all the veterans I met, he was the biggest disappointment because of the way he talked to my friends and talked to me that night that I met him. And he talked to my girlfriend. So anybody that, I don't care who they are in wrestling, that disgraces me or my girlfriend, I could really give a rat's ass about them. And he seems to be really bitter. Why, I don't know, because it's like I always said, if it wasn't for that business, he'd been probably been a greeter at Walmart or something. You never know.
Yeah, we just had Lanny Poffo on the show, and another show that Lanny was on a couple weeks before he did our interview. I thought it would be a great idea to reunite the two because they had worked together in the past, and Ole proceeded to just rip him apart, and it seems like nobody really cares for Ole that much.
No, nobody does, and you can see why. I mean, if I sit around and all I did was just talk bad about everybody in wrestling, and people wouldn't like me either. So.
Yeah, well, you just signed on to the big corporate monster that killed wrestling in his mind, so. Great.
Yeah, his day of wrestling is gone. I don't think it'll ever come back. I don't think it could ever come back with the way the business is nowadays, and he's just kind of holding on to something that's never going to be again.
Who gave you the idea to become the enforcer in ECW?
That was Paul and Tommy's idea from when they put myself and Bill Wiles with Louis Dangerously. I don't know if it was Paul or Tommy that came up with it, but it was their idea for us to do the Dangerous Alliance and for Bill to portray Bobby's character, which he never liked and never did. That's why he went with his own little Elvis thing, and me being the enforcer.
Is that why, what came first, the look that you have or the gimmick?
Wow.
Or would they go hand in hand?
It's kind of, they went hand in hand because at the time I had a goatee when I sat down with this guy Pat who was running the Anderson gimmick, and he wanted me to be his partner back in '93. And he wanted me to be, being Anderson, I had to come up with a name and grow a beard out, grow my beard. And so I guess they come together, me becoming an Anderson and the look all at the same time. And like as far as the spine buster and the punch, I don't know why I started doing the spine buster. I don't even remember when I started doing it. I think it was, because Arn did it, but the left-handed punch just natural for me. Even though when I played baseball and, play ball now, I throw right-handed. I ain't figured that out yet.
I saw an interview you did back in 2001, and when you did this interview, you were talking about, I believe your term for the indie scene at the time was the drizzling shits. Is the pay, or is the business, the indie scene, I should say, still as bad now as it was then?
Yeah. It is. There's a few promotions that are well above that and have a great thing, like, Karina's doing some great stuff with his World One now. There's a guy, Jody Peterman, down in Georgia for Spinebuster Championship Wrestling, and yes, he's a mark for me. That's why he named the company that. He has some good stuff going on there. He brings myself and Carino down a lot. Vordell Walker. He's had names here and there. I just worked at Midnight Express for him not too long ago down there. I'm trying to think who else is promotion. There was one around here in North Carolina called Law Live Action Wrestling, but they kind of faded away. The guy kept booking shows and then cancel them, left and right. So that promotion kind of faded away. At one time, they were the best thing to get in North Carolina in a while, but there's so many bad promotions everywhere you go. They just outweigh, the few good ones. Also, Steve Goff got one up in Michigan. It's a part of Carino's World One. That's another good one.
Now, just before November Rain, for the Hardcore Homecoming series, you were in the hospital for a couple of weeks. Could you explain to our listeners what actually happened to you?
I was taking a supplement from that I got off the line from eBay. It was, like a GNC type store would sell it. Actually, GNC was selling it one time, but they ran out. It was a product called Super Draw, and it was a bodybuilding product that help you get your gains and stuff like that to be in shape. And the reason I was doing it was because I got tired of companies telling me that, well, if you had a body, if you had a look, if you were in shape, we'd give you a job. And I was like, man, I got tired of hearing it because, damn, this is a wrestling business. This is not bodybuilding. People want to see wrestling. So I was like, all right, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to get in shape and see what's going on, let them take all the excuses. So I really got in shape and was in the best shape of my life. And so I was taking this product, and after about 2 weeks on it, it sent my liver into a failure, which was, liver specialist told me it was called a cholestatic liver injury. If you had a broken ankle, it would be like a third-degree sprain. It was very severe, not to the point of never trying to turn around like some people have, but for a few weeks there, my liver didn't function. Your count on your liver what's called bilirubins, which helps your process and stuff that goes through your liver. Normal people should be about 1. Mine was at 23. And they said anything above 11 was dangerous. So for a few weeks, I was in and out of the hospital having blood work done, and I got jaundice because of it. I lost 20 pounds in 9 days. I ended up losing a total of 40. I went from 255 to 215.
Wow.
And I was really yellow. Ricky Morton said I looked like a Crayola marker.
Wow.
My eyes were yellow. I was just so beat. I couldn't go outside because if I went outside, the sun hurt my body, just from the heat. And I stayed inside. I couldn't sleep. And then I developed an itching from this jaundice because it was pushing, my liver was trying to get rid of the bile in there, and it was pushing it out through my pores. And so for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I had an itch equivalent of having that massive sunburn, and it's starting to heal. I know you guys probably have all had that at one point or another.
Yes.
So that's what it felt like, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2.5 weeks.
How did that not drive you insane?
I was almost, I can say there were times that in that I was like, I don't want to live. That's how bad it was getting to me, and I'm one of the most level-headed people you'll ever meet. And at that point, I was like, I don't even want to go on because it was hurting so bad. I couldn't take any Advil or ibuprofen or anything to help with these pains because they didn't want my liver hurting any more than what I already was from taking this product. So I had to tough it out. Not only was it the itching, but I had the worst migraine headaches I ever had, where I would hit myself in the forehead to make myself feel better, to make my head feel better.
Ow.
I was throwing up stomach acid from it all times of the night. It totally messed my bathroom period stuff up, where I couldn't go to the bathroom normally.
Wow.
It was, and it may even sound a little gross, but it gives like the worst, like hemorrhoids and stuff like that you'll ever have, and there's nothing you could do for it.
Well, let me ask you this. What the hell was it? I mean, what caused this? Was it a bad product that they sent you, or was it not the product that you thought it was going to be?
No, it was the product they sent me. I had 2 of my bodybuilding friends that were raving about it and saying that, everybody was taking it, everybody was having great results, and one of them was my buddy Lodi, who's been a personal fitness instructor. You guys who know Lodi is.
Oh, absolutely.
He was a personal fitness instructor, and he was like, CW, you got to take this. I'm having some great results from it. He said, you just got to do it. It was, once my story come out, the Washington Post picked up on it, and then they did tests for it, and the thing tested positive for Anadrol, which is, a steroid, and it's very bad for your back, and it's so hard on your liver. And there's 12 or 13 counts of people having this type of problem that I have, because I've gotten all emails from them because I was the most known story that got out. And when my story got out, the bodybuilding community picked up on it. There's a website called bodybuilding.com, and if you can do some searching and type in like Superdraw and C.W. Anderson and see the posts that people made about me. Just these ignorant ass bodybuilders that were telling, things like I was an alcoholic, I was taking 2-3 times the normal dosage for what was going on. Even one of the owners of that company said I was in cahoots with the FDA, putting this story out to corrupt them, to get this product off the market. I never said one bad thing about that product, telling people to stay clear of it, just tell them, to be safe and be careful what you put in your body.
Did you ever think of maybe suing them or anything?
I have. I've even had people tell me to sue them, and I want to put that whole thing behind me. I don't know why I hadn't done it. Well, I don't know. I don't know why I hadn't done it, but I kind of really want to put it behind me, and I think, I do believe in karma at some point, because it's damn sure happened to me a lot. And I hope it comes around and bites them in the ass, because they hurt a lot of people with this product.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, how did it feel to get back in the ring at the, I don't know the new name of it, but the ECW arena after all that?
The November Rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. What it was. Hindsight being 20/20, I should have never done that show. In my mind, I was still the same person I was before I got hurt, but people tell me how skinny I looked, how much weight I had lost, and that's the night I had a slip disc from working Spike Dudley because of all the trauma that my body went through. You know, they cleared me October 31st, Halloween, for my liver problem. And then 5 days later, I go and do that show, and as my chiropractor and neurosurgeon called it, it's a lumbar disc sprain. They said if I'd have severely slipped it and herniated, I would have needed surgery. But after 21 days, it started getting better, slowly. But, you know, I was in bed for 21 straight days. I couldn't get up and couldn't walk 20 feet to the bathroom without crutches or holding on to the wall, and it even hurt me to do that.
I actually just watched that show, that match that you had.
Yeah, people say I look bad in it because I was still jaundiced from it, and you know I had lost so much weight.
Have you put much weight back on?
Hey, I'm around 245 now. I'm happy that with the weight I've put back on. I'm not as muscular as what I was last year, but I really don't care because I'm alive.
Right.
And I'm healthy. I had blood work done about 3 or 4 months ago, and my liver's back to normal. It's actually in better shape than what it was before. Before all this happened. My counts are even lower, and my back is fine. It's still a little pain, and it's almost like starting over again, getting back in the ring. But my chiropractor is amazed at how well my back's healed, and he, claims that my genetics helped me through all this.
And hey, all those other companies that said, well, if you had a body, well, who needs them now? Because look at the contract you got. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So that.
Now, you were at last year's ECW One Night Stand. What was that show like compared to the Hardcore Homecomings?
Two totally different shows. The ECW Arena show that we did was more an emotional thing, being able to perform in front of the crowd, in front of the ECW Arena crowd, and I was the first match to walk out that night, so they were just so hot, and my adrenaline had never been that high. I was almost at the point of being emotional with the applause that Simon and I were getting, and the whole welcome back, and just the hotness of that crowd. Mind you, it was probably 110 degrees in there anyway, because of no air conditioner. But the One Night Stand was just a completely different show. It was a completely different atmosphere. I thought that show went off well as well, but it was just two totally different comparisons. I didn't feel I'm sorry, but I said I would have rather worked that night at One Night Stand, but I enjoyed sitting out in the front row and just being a fan for one night.
Did it feel like ECW to you? The WWE produced one?
It's kind of hard sitting in there from looking at it from a fan's point of view. If I'd have been backstage or gotten to work, and maybe it would have felt, but just sitting out there watching the matches, and it almost felt like I was a mark again, seeing the people come out and not knowing who was going to be next and stuff like that. So it didn't feel as if like an ECW show, and I think it's mainly because I was sitting out in the crowd watching it instead of being a part of it.
Well, most of our listeners will remember you from the I Quit match at Guilty as Charged 2001 against Tommy Dreamer. How big a match was that for you career-wise?
At the time, the biggest match of my career. The Bloodsport DVD that's out, I've said it that I wanted to prove people wrong in the back with that match, because there was a lot of guys saying the I Quit match was very hard to do. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could pull it off, and I wanted to have matches night. And when I finished with the match, I wanted it to be compared to Magnum and Tully's I Quit. When you talk of I Quit matches, that's top one, and it's an honor for people to tell me that they compare that to Magnum matches, and that were the Magnum TA I Quit match.
Oh yes.
When you talk of I Quit matches now, those two come up, mine and Dreamers, and Magnum and Tully's. Nothing else comes close. So that match was a great accomplishment, but afterwards, what the fans didn't get to see, that were watching at home, was that entire arena chanting my name.
CW.
Standing ovation. They were chanting CF and Dub.
Yeah.
That match.
I remember that. I have to admit that match in particular made me miss ECW more than about anything towards the end. How did you find out about the end of ECW?
On the internet and seeing Paul on TV.
Yeah, that's a shame too, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have loved to have gotten some kind of type of phone call. There was rumors that were going around that we were done, and I was really trying to,
in denial.
Optimistic, and I was actually in denial, yeah, because I was like, man, this is ECW. This is a company that's been around for 6, 7, 8 years, however long, and this company can't close. We're going to be here a while, and after the I Quit match, I was like, all right, it's my time now. I'm the next thing, the next star they're going to make. It's my time to be, for the limelight to be on me. Because I've been, putting these guys over back and forth and, biding my time and, watching all these guys get the limelight. And, I thought I damn well deserved it after that I Quit match. So, and then it just gets snatched away from me.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, you mentioned a second ago, sorry, let me cut you off. You mentioned a second ago that at the time it was your largest match, your biggest match. What would you say your biggest match is now?
There's two that come close to each other. I worked Masato Tanaka in Pottstown for PWF, and we had a 15-minute draw. And then I worked him in Japan in front of about 5,000 people for his TV title, or I'm sorry, for the UN title, which I ended up capturing later. And we went another 15 or 20 minutes and had every person, all 5,000 people standing up chanting for that match while it was happening. And even, Carino he was out of the ring with me, Loki was at the ring, and so was Spanky. And they all three said that it blew my I Quit match away, that match I had with Tanaka. That's the night that I split my hand open real bad, and he hit me with his roaring elbow and knocked my head off the axis joint.
Holy shit. Did anybody film it?
They got film of it. I've never seen it, but I know it wasn't filmed for TV. It was an actual house show over there. But I've never gotten to see it. I've tried the few times I've gone back, but over there when you ask for a video, it's like pulling eye teeth to get some, especially if it's not filmed for TV. It's like how RF Video used to do the handheld cams.
Yeah.
Well, I have a pretty markish question for you. Is he as tough as he appears to be?
Who?
Tanaka?
Yeah. He's a bad dude in the ring. He's really fun to work with, but it's like that whole Japanese style. Yeah. When you're in there, you got to work. You got to be at your A game, and you can't slouch, because if they take liberties on you and you don't take them back, they're going to keep bringing it just because you don't deserve to be in the ring with them, and if you can't bring it back to them.
Well, speaking of Japan, you've done a few tours for 01.
36.
Yeah.
That's not a few.
A little more than a few. How would you compare the ECW fans to Japanese fans and just the wrestling styles?
Both are two totally different. First, on the fans, you know how the ECW fans are. They all want to chant, and they all, if you're not giving them what they want, they're going to chant boring and things like that. You pretty much have to go out there. And, if you mess up one spot, they're on you. So, and when you go to Japan, they're very respectful. Even when they come to shows, the men and women are, the men are dressed up in suits, the women are all dressed up in their high-class dresses, so they come for an event. And when you go out there and wrestle, you can, mat wrestle for 6-7 minutes, and they're into it. They'll sit there and they're very respectful. And if you fight for the ropes and get to the ropes, they're very appreciative. And when you get done with a match, you really feel like you've accomplished something with those people. And just if you can get them into it and have them, like over there, the Japanese, it's funny to watch them try and do my CW, and they'll sit there and start chanting Anderson. So that's a great accomplishment to have them sit there and chant my name and to be recognized like I am over there. As far as the wrestling, it's different. Over here, again, the ECW crowds, you got to go out there and kill yourself and do just crazy things to satisfy them, because that crowd has been there and done that and seen it all. And the Japanese crowd, you can still do it all, and it's a strong style, which means, when you're kicking, punching, slapping, you're kicking and punching and slapping. So when you get slapped, you got to toughen up and take it and give it back. So over there, it's a lot harder on the body, because I'll do tours, and when I get done, it's like somebody has drugged me behind a truck.
Wow.
How about the culture shock?
The first time I went over there, I was trying to figure out how to change my ticket to come home first day. Of course, I couldn't speak the language. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where to go to eat. There's nothing in English over there. And it's not like here in America, how America caters to everybody and puts it in different languages so you can read. If you can't read in Japanese, you're just SOL. I had to learn to speak the language, and the second tour I eased up a little bit, and the more it went on, the more I loved going over there. And now when I go over there, I know how to speak the language. I know I can't read it, but I can tell the cab driver where I want to go, and I know enough about the area that we take trains and the subway, stuff like that to get where we want to go.
Say something to me in Japanese.
Genki desu ka? Onegaishimasu.
What does that mean?
How are you doing?
Okay.
Onegaishimasu.
I'm gonna have that translated, and if you told me off, I'm gonna get even with you. No, just kidding.
No, ichiuzu bakigata, that's telling you off.
How hard of a learning curve is that from English to Japanese?
Japanese is it's easy to learn because a lot of it is kind of translates to English because like the word itai, like itai means you're hurt. Everybody knows what domo arigato means, but you hardly ever say that. And gambate, it's almost spelled like combat. Gambate means good luck. That's what we always say to each other before we work. So at least over there you can spell it in kind of English to get your own, to learn it how you ever want to learn it.
Oh wow.
What about the food?
I don't eat sushi. I always say cooked cow beats raw fish any day. So they have McDonald's over there. They have Wendy's. They have a thing called yakiniku, which is Korean barbecue. You sit at a dinner table or a table like you would at McDonald's food, and it has a little grill in the middle, and they bring you marinated beef, and then you cook that, and they bring you a bowl of rice, and that's what you eat. And that's it's like $30 a meal, but you almost have to get carried out of there because it's so much food. And there's other little things that over there that help. They got this little snacks and whatnot, Hershey, like Snickers bars and things like that. They have Coke over there, the soda. So it's kind of easy to get accustomed to the food. But like Carino and those guys, they love sushi, but I can't stand it.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, well, we got one more question before we get to a few word associations.
Right.
The final question is, how do you expect the ECW, the new ECW, to compare to the old one?
I don't think you can really compare them. There's going to be a lot of new faces at this one, and so it's going to be almost, like starting over again. There's going to be some of the older guys there, like myself, but there's going to be a lot of new faces that's going to make names for themselves. So it's going to start out kind of in the same as far as the people are going to be expecting the same kind of ECW. Hoping that it's going to be the same. I'm hoping it is, but I think with all the new faces, it's going to take a while before it gets to that point.
I actually talked to Raven earlier today, and he was talking about it a lot. He's, of course, not going to be a part of it, but he was saying that he thinks at first they're going to have a lot of the same guys like yourself, like Tommy, like our former workcast partner, Francine. They're going to be all a part of this, but then as time goes by, they're going to phase those guys, not necessarily phase them out, but they're going to have the younger guys get built up to that level, so there's new ECW guys.
Yeah, you're going to have to do that because company's been gone since 2001, and all of us are so much older. Like everybody's in their late 30s, or me, I'm 35. So we can't do that style, but for so long, and you're going to have to bring new and fresh blood around because it wouldn't be doing ECW justice to try to keep the old faces there and try to keep up with that style. It just wouldn't be right for the fans.
Right.
Well, we'll end this with a few word associations. Basically, if you only have a one-word answer, feel free to share. If you have a story, we'd really appreciate it. You ready?
A story?
Well, yeah.
If you have like a funny story about the person, you can share that too.
Okay.
Or if you want to bash them, that's great too.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Okay, I'm hoping Steve Carino's name's in there because I got a lot for him.
Actually, that's the first name on the list.
Oh my God. Steve, you can't answer him in one word. Everybody knows Steve's my best friend. He's like my brother. I love the guy to death. Stories that I have for Steve, you can actually go to my website or MySpace to see them because there's so much detail that he and I have done and gotten into that it would, you'd have to read them to see it. But
what are those addresses?
Oh, ecwanderson.com. And myspace.com/CW Anderson.
We'll make sure to put those up with the interview.
Yeah, check those out, and you'll there's some good stories about Steve. One of them is an S&M story from the Tokyo bar.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, that's probably the best one. That's the one I get most requested for because thank you's a part of it too. it doesn't really. I thank Steve for everything he's done for me these past few months, helping me get in rehab and get back into wrestling and taking care of me like he has. But him just being my best friend is all I can say for him.
Well, the next one is your Extreme Horseman partner, Simon Diamond.
Simon's my Tully Blanchard. They always compared Tully, or me and Simon, to Tully and Arn. And what an intellectual genius Simon is. Almost sometimes too good for his own britches, as I would say, because when we used to do promos, he would always correct me for me being Southern. My grammar's not the best in the world. I really don't care if people know what I'm thinking about or saying. And he would always correct me, and I would get frustrated. I'm like, dude, I'm from the South, let it go. But his promos are phenomenal, and Simon's another really good friend of mine that I will miss tagging with.
How about another friend of yours from ECW, Chili Willie?
Oh, I just was with him on the road last Thursday. We went down to South Carolina. That guy has done a lot for this country in the past 3 or 4 years, going over to Iraq, almost getting killed when a bomb blew up. He sacrificed himself and a buddy of his, and his buddy didn't make it, but his troops did. And he really is not going to get recognized for that war, for what he should and what he's done. And him coming home and having to deal with getting taken away from his family. It's great to see that Willie's back on the right track now and got his head back together. And he was somebody else that if ECW could have stuck around, he was going to be a superstar just for his charisma. A quick story with him: he's the only person at ECW that ever got a curtain call on his entrance. The first time he worked at Virginia, he rode up with me, and I got him a tryout match. And the buzz was going around how much charisma he had, and everybody in the locker room. I mean, everybody was out at the gorilla position at the curtain watching him do his entrance. He didn't let any of us down. Plus, I think he started getting his push at ECW when we got in that fight in California, and he was just knocking mothers out left and right because he's really a badass.
Was that the XPW invasion thing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got to tell us about that. Tell me a little bit about that. I actually just watched the Christy Miss shoot interview that she did, and she was, of course, she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. But what happened?
The XPW people were there in the front row, and they were going out. Dreamer and Credible going out for their way to hell match, I think it was.
Yeah, it was the main event.
Something happened where I think one of the females grabbed Francine or slapped her or something like that. And
it was Christy Mist, yes.
Yeah, the ECW, or when the security come up started grabbing all the XPW guys, they were trying to get in there over the guardrails and in the ring, and then everybody started running out. I remember seeing Roadkill run out and Chili Willie run out, and I didn't know what was going on. And next thing I knew, everybody was filing outside. The XPW got thrown out, and we run out the back, and everybody was kind of squared off like a little Mexican, what they call it, Mexican square off, something, I don't know, anyway.
Standoff, I think.
Squared off, look at each other. Somebody sucker punched New Jack, and it was on. I remember Jack Vickery hopping across the street to punch one of them. Kid Cash and Tony Mama Luke were throwing punches, and Chili Willie was just beating people down. I remember Louis Dangerously had somebody in the headlock, and I was beating him in the ribs. But I saw Chili hit a guy in the face with, like, both his fists come sideways and hit him and, like, busted his nose open. Some guy hit Willie in the back, and he turned around and goes, what are you doing? And, like, wow, knocked the guy out. And, like, Chili's he's like a shoot bad dude in the Marine or the Army. He said he always had pit fights, and he never got beat. He was beating up sergeants, up the commanders and stuff like that. But he was that night. We literally drugged the streets with them.
I heard that you just beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And I heard that they ran, like, as Gerald would say, like, scalded dogs with a case of the limber tail.
Yeah, they did. They got beat down. And it would have been bad to see what New Jack would have done here, because he was on crutches, so he couldn't do much. But, Tony Mamalu's a little scrappy dog, and he'll fight at the drop of a hat, and so will Kid Cash. And, that day, boy, they got a lot of frustration out.
Wow, I just have to say this. This whole thing started because one of these idiots sucker punched New Jack. I guess that explains what happened to XPW later on.
Yeah, one of them sucker punched New Jack and him being on crutches.
Well, speaking of which, how about Louis Dangerously?
Yeah, that's another good friend of mine. he got the gimmick over of being a dangerous lead when nobody thought he could. I always thought he could just do fine guy, and he was given a shot to do Paul, to imitate Paul at the arena, and he pulled it off, and he's the main reason that one of the main reasons I got made, or, got to be such a bigger name at ECW, because they asked him who would he want to manage, and without a, doubt, he said, I want to manage CW.
Yeah, he does a perfect impression of Paul, I have to.
Oh, yeah, spitting image.
Oh, yeah. How about New Jack?
Me and New Jack have a love-hate relationship. Yeah, I've heard him get drunk and stuff like that on the interview and blast me because of this black girl I used to date. And he was he still harps on that a lot. For a guy that doesn't date black women, he was giving me grief about dating her.
James, I'll take the next one.
Sure. We mentioned her that she was the beginning of the fight. How about Francine?
Oh, that's my dog there.
Yep.
That's my girl. I love Francine. She and I she's one of the few that I've stayed in contact with since the whole ECW thing went down, in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Through emails, phone calls, and, seeing her on the road here and there. But I love Francine. She's like a sister to me.
We're going to be seeing her a lot this September.
Yeah, I can't wait, because we've been talking about, we're like so excited to get back on the road together.
Yeah, she was actually doing, I do a Wednesday night show on AM radio, and she was, for lack of a better term, co-hosting it. And unfortunately, because of this, she's pretty much been told not to say a word, which I hope you weren't told, because I'd hate to get you in trouble for doing this interview, but, yeah, I mean...
Nobody told me anything about it. They said once everything was released, I could... I could let it out that I had been signed, but that was it.
Excellent. Well, like I said...
and I've not said anything that I hadn't, because I don't know anything. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think everybody's just kind of sitting back and saying, well, let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more word associations. Brian, want to take the next one?
What is the next one?
Second to last. Okay, never mind.
I don't have the list. The list is gone.
I'm sorry, I forgot to send it to him. How about Tommy Dreamer?
Tommy's the guy that made me. It was his idea to do the I Quit match and do the feud with, and he saw great potential in me, and I can't never thank Tommy enough for, giving me another opportunity and giving me that opportunity to be, to be the wrestler that I always wanted to be. So, yeah, thank you so much, Tommy.
And the final one, I'm pretty sure you can guess, Paul Heyman.
He's a great mind for the wrestling business. That guy, I've never seen him run out of ideas, and with his creativeness, there's no limit to what, the new ECW can do.
Excellent, man. Well, we wish you the absolute best of luck. You're a nice guy, and we really do appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to sit with us.
No problem, guys. I had a blast. Thank you for having me.
Well, before we let you go, was there anything you'd like to plug?
No, I've already plugged my website and MySpace, so that's pretty much it. And we've covered pretty much everything. So I do appreciate the time for this interview.
One last favor, can we ask from you?
Sure.
Can we ask you to give us a show ID? Basically saying this is C.W. Anderson, and you're listening to 3 Count Wrestling.
Okay.
You can add any inflection or whatever onto it. Yeah. Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is the enforcer, C.W. Anderson, and I'm listening to 3 Count Radio because I'm an Anderson.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
Take care.
You
Bye.
too.